In 1 hour, we will be kicking off some major football games today. But you know what that means? We got 1 hour to prepare and get ready for those. Donnie Rightside and Joe Lisi. SportsGrid College Football today, Week 14, rivalry edition. And one of the rivalries that these teams hate each other. Joe, they can't even say the names. That team up north. You ban every, M on campus. You blank it all out and you get after it. Ohio State and Michigan. We've seen this game for years and years and years at 12 noon. I love the tradition. I love it starting off early. This isn't the biggest Michigan-Ohio State game we're ever going to see. We saw unbeatens 1 and 2 play before. But my goodness, bragging rights on the line. And if Michigan can knock off Ohio State, Joe, could Michigan be staring at a college football playoff?
Yeah, they can. Yeah. Because they're going to go down with Miami and Notre Dame into that mix in Oklahoma, depending upon how many 10-2 teams are alive. And I think that's why in the previous segment we were talking about Notre Dame's odds coming off, because if Michigan gets a victory early to set the tone, then all of a sudden, there you go. So we'll see how it plays out. Again, the prop market for me comes down to Bryce Underwood. If you're back in Michigan, his rush yards, you need him to get through that total. I don't back the passing total of 150 as much. I want Bryce Underwood on the ground, and we'll see what the defense can do. But if I'm Ohio State, Donnie, I'm throwing 50 times in this game. You have Julian saying you have this offense that's averaging well over 30 points per game, a total of about 450, 500 total yards of offense.
Yeah.
2 big playmakers in Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate. Why would you try and get into a lower scoring game? Try and jump up 14-0 and then try to hit them with the knockout punch.
Again, sometimes we take a look at correlated numbers. If you say to yourself that Michigan is going to either win this game or stay close, I don't see Bryce Underwood, Joe, throwing for 150 yards or less or having less than a touchdown. His touchdown prop, Joe, to throw a half of a touchdown minus 130 price. You can have Bryce Underwood, Joe, at 170 yards and throw a touchdown, and they still lose the football game.
Yeah.
But I can't see them saying, well, look at this. We played such good defense. We held Julian Sayin down to 175 yards passing, picked him off 3 times, and maybe you can stay close and win it. But for me, if I'm looking at Michigan, I'm not even betting Michigan getting 10.5, 9.5, whatever it might be, Joe. I'm taking Bryce Underwood and saying, if he has a good day, we have a chance. But if he doesn't, we're not covering that spread.
No, you're not. And again, he's averaging 4.7 yards on the ground with 5 rushing touchdowns. And we talk about how dominant Ohio State is in run support. They're only giving up 80 yards per game. Since the Texas game week 1, they've held 10 straight opponents under 100 yards. Now, you do have a Michigan team that has won 5 straight by 12 points per game. But we know that Northwestern and teams like Purdue, they're not like Ohio State. They're going to come to play. They're going to take away your best option. And last year, that game 13-10, that's like a perfect ride. You're not going to get that 2 years in a row with this team. You're going to have to put up points. And again, I'm shocked, though, 16.5 is a pretty high number for this type of game, knowing how, I want to say, one-dimensional Michigan is and how dominant Ohio State has been on the defensive side of the ball. You would think that if Michigan gets to that number, 16.5, they're going to probably cover this line.
Now, if we look at Julian Sayin, Joe, on the opposite side, again, factors always matter in as well. He's in the Heisman Trophy race. I doubt he wants to go into this game and say, hey, man, let's hand the football off and I'm not going to be a big part of this. There's a chance that he could steal the show today. 234.5 is his passing prop, Joe, and 1.5 touchdowns is minus 132. I look at those 2 numbers, Joe. I'd probably rather just take the touchdown prop over 1.5. Big-time wide receivers. I don't need all the yardage. But when I get in the red zone, I'm finding my dudes.
Yeah, I'm taking the yardage. Again, 234.5 for me, Sayin has to get there, right? Because, again, you have the better, more explosive offense. 170 on the ground, 270 through the air. You have Smith and Tate that have combined, Donnie, for 108 receptions, over 1,600 yards, 17 combined touchdowns. If they're going to lose this game, it's not going to be because I didn't get the football to Tate and Smith. I'm going to go down guns a-blazing. Sayin is going to throw it 40 times, and then we'll see what we have in the end. I'm not going to play into Michigan's strengths defensively, hoping for a lower scoring game. Now, granted, that's easier said than done. But for me, it's through the air for Sayin 234, 250 plus.
Let's go over a better back show. We already know Bryce Underwood, 16.5 rushing props. Got to use his legs, Joe said here. It's got to get over that total. But if I gave you 2 opportunities today. Bo Jackson, which is Ohio State's starting running back, 78.5 yards. Jordan Marshall, Michigan, 83.5 yards. Which back are you taking and why today in those props?
That's tough. I mean, you would say it's Marshall just because, Michigan wants to run it.
Yeah.
They want to run the football. But I think the rushing attack is coming from Underwood, so I would go to Bo Jackson. Just because Sayin throws for 250 doesn't mean Jackson can't get to 80 or 90, right? They're averaging 440 total yards of offense. So if Sayin throws for 250, I would probably take Jackson. Now, I will say red zone opportunities have gone to Donaldson more than Bo Jackson. He's a bigger back. But Jackson can get it to his number with Sayin getting to 250, 275 as well.
How about the wide receiver market, Joe? You know one of the best wide receivers in the country, certainly in Ohio State. That's Jeremiah Smith. He's 79.5. Carnell Tate is 66.5. I always love secondary options, but I got to be honest. Which way would you go? Because we're going to get to the Michigan guys. Smith, 79.5. Carnell Tate, 66.5. You have one choice. Where are you going here?
I'm going Smith. I'm going to the Ferrari in this type of game. Again, I'm not holding back, knowing I haven't beaten Michigan in 4 years, knowing that my back's against the wall, I'm facing criticism. And what did they do last year? Now, I understand that was Chip Kelly calling the plays, but in the big spot with the 3rd and 11, who'd they go to? Jeremiah Smith, right? If Jeremiah Smith is going to only have 40, 50 yards in this game, you're going to lose. Let's call it what it is. Ohio State has to pull out all the stops. You're a 10.5-point road favorite. Act like it and get your Ferraris the football. I think he can break out with 125 plus. Now, they didn't really go to him in a lot of games.
Yeah.
But again, this is an opportunity where
Deep shots, Joe. Come on. Deep shots today.
You have to. I think it's all Smith today.
How about Michigan's perspective? Because we only have a 150-yard prop there from the quarterback Underwood. Somebody's got to catch passes today. McCulley, Joe, 32.5. Marsh, 52.5. Any looks from a Michigan perspective at wideout? It
would be Marsh, but again, is this a J.J. McCarthy type of game? Are we going to be kicking ourselves? Are we going to be kicking ourselves when we see Bryce Underwood with 80 yards through the air and saying, why did I back any Michigan wide receivers in any capacity? Again, it would be Marsh for me. Now, McCulley and Marsh have combined for 6 touchdowns. They're 2 of the top leading receivers for Michigan. But again, we haven't seen them throw against garbage defenses. Yeah. This is the top defense in the nation right now. They're 28% third down defense. Again, I'm back in Michigan, but it's going to come through. Everything is coming through the point guard, Bryce Underwood, but it's going on the ground today.
Touchdown props today, Joe. You're actually getting some pretty good price points. Why? Because we don't have 55 or 60 points that are listed here. Cold temperatures there at Michigan, and we take a look at that total in the low 40s. Bo Jackson, Ohio State's running back, Joe, he's the favorite right now in the clubhouse at minus 120 price. Then we get to Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Marshall, and Donaldson here to follow out. Any looks at pay dirt that you want to get after?
Well, it would be, like I said, C.J. Donaldson at plus money. But again, Smith at minus 125. Again, if I'm Ohio State, I'm feed the beast, right? Yeah. So Bo Jackson seems like he should hit pay dirt. I like him for yards. Donaldson to hit pay dirt more. And don't rule out saying, if he's in the Heisman and they get up late in the fourth quarter and they're winning by double digits, might tuck it and run.
All right, you want our fun time of the day, the total yards market, Joe. Let's get after right now and see what we can pick. Now I'm going to go. First, I'm going to ask you, without giving you the number, Michigan's total yards today listed at FanDuel.
220.
284.5, Joe.
All right, so that's over the 200 of what Ohio State gives up, but under their average.
I'm going under on that, too. But you're basically asking for 300 yards, which, again, if you correlate it, Joe, 158 in there, 150 in the air, 150 on the ground. Can they do it? I don't think they could do it.
No,
I think it's a slow-down game.
Again, I would probably go under. I don't love it, though, Donnie. Yeah. But again, it's 80 yards more than what Ohio State gives up. The only problem is if it's Ohio State spread-wise, Ohio State up in the fourth quarter by 17. They're going to have to throw.
How about Ohio State's total yards, Joe? Give me a quick one. What do you think Ohio State's yards are today, total yards?
470.
375, Joe.
I love that.
Whoa, we got one, people. We got one in the marketplace right now. Higher, lower, higher, lower.
I'm on the under, but I still think they can move the football.
Should be a good one today, man. We get started at noon. We're just getting started, it feels like, right here on the SportsGrid Network, Joe. We're going to be right back. Iron Bowl action is next. close to $1 million in volume being traded right now on the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Iron Bowl action right here on the SportsGrid Network. Week 14 rivalry week. My goodness, it's Donnie Rightside and it's Joe Lisi. Let's get down right to it because one would think with an Auburn team that has struggled mightily in the SEC just to pick up victories, this game should be meaningless and be a double-digit favorite. It's not. We're playing on the Plains today, Joe, as a 5.5-point favorite towards the Alabama Crimson Tide and a total of 46.5. We got your opinions here in hour number one. You're feeling like a cover for the Auburn Tigers here, even though they don't win games, Joe. Their MO is, well, we'll keep it close.
Yeah, and at home, I think it's a different animal. I think their defense can make enough plays. I like Durkin. I'm not sold on Alabama's defense. Secondary, very good. In run support, they're not. I think they can be exploited by Ashton Daniels, the dual-threat quarterback, and Cobb, the running back, Jeremiah Cobb for Auburn. I think they can run the football. And, again, I think the offensive line of Auburn can wear them down. I'm not sold on the front seven. I think we take – at least I'm taking Cobb to hit pay dirt and Cobb rushing yards today.
Now, look, again, we've seen a lot of Ty Simpson. If you're watching Alabama football, they're on just about nationally every single week. You know about that offense. You know about the wide receivers. We'll get to the props in just a second. But, Joe, explain to the people what they are getting from Ashton Daniels today at quarterback for Auburn and what difference can he make?
Well, to me, Ashton Daniels is just a mature quarterback. Is he elite? No. But he's a mobile guy. He's mobile enough to utilize the RPO game. And again, he's a smart quarterback. Jackson Arnold was still a deer in the headlights in big matchups, holds the football way too long, leads to sacks, leads to turnovers. You get a different quarterback with Ashton Daniels and could maybe get the football to Singleton and Coleman, their two big play wide receivers. Came on in relief in the road win over Arkansas. He's a better quarterback and more mature and smart, I believe, than Jackson Arnold.
Now, we were just talking about 150 or so passing prop here for Underwood in the Michigan-Ohio State game, Joe. Similar here for Ashton Daniels. 158.5 is his passing prop. His touchdown prop to throw one, it's juicy at minus 225. Ty Simpson, Joe, 272.5, and also 1.5 touchdown passes at minus 136.
So I would go over with Daniels, and the only reason why I say that is because I think they're going to be able to run the football. And if they utilize the rushing attack, again, Alabama giving up 121 yards per game, 3.8 yards per carry, but we saw teams like Florida State pound it for over 200. When you run the football effectively, that allows the play-action passing attack to take over. Now, Alabama only giving up $148 through the air, but I think they can run on them. That leads to Daniels. When you look at Ty Simpson, he's averaging 292. but that front seven of Auburn could get after it, and that's why I think they contain Alabama's offense. So I would go over Daniels, under maybe Simpson today.
Let's go to the rushing props here. How about this one? Jeremiah Cobb, Auburn, Joe, 66.5 rushing yards listed prop here. Daniel Hill for Alabama, 39.5. Nothing listed for Jam Miller here.
Yeah, he's been banged up. Again, this is an offense that is struggling to run the
Yeah,
football. Again, if you're going to take anything, maybe you take Ty Simpson rushing yards today. I'm not sold on the Alabama rushing attack in any capacity. I told you earlier it's one of the worst rushing attacks in Alabama history over the last 15 years, dating back to when Nick Saban was there. That leads to long third downs. It's do or die with the passing attack. And again, I can't back any Alabama rushing total outside of maybe the quarterback that potentially hits pay dirt. Jeremiah Cobb, I think he can get 100 plus today, Donnie. Put it this way, if you're back in Auburn, you want the rushing attack to keep Ty Simpson on the sidelines and obviously wear down that defense. Cobb, I think he could hit pay dirt. They don't like going to him in the red zone, which is amazing because he does all the dirty work between the 30s. But in the Iron Bowl today, I think he hits pay dirt.
Take a look at the receiving props today, Joe, from an Auburn perspective. We'll get to Alabama in just a moment. Cam Coleman, 52.5. Eric Singleton Jr., 36.5. Any looks from either one of those guys? Or you just centered on the running game?
Coleman, I would look for not yards, but anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
He's a bigger body. He's like a George Pickens type if you watch him. He can catch the football at its highest point, but getting the discounted number on Singleton, 32.5, I like over that.
How about the Bama side of things? Jeremy Bernard, I know you liked him all season long, 65.5 is a listed total. Ryan Williams, underwhelming this year, Joe, but still 53.5. And then Isaiah Horton, the Miami transfer, 28.5 here.
I think Horton could be big for them. Again, Horton has stepped up in big matchups. Yeah. You watch the game against Missouri, Horton had some big catches. Bernard is the guy in red zone opportunities that Ty Simpson loves going to. Williams, to me, too hot and cold. I like Bernard. He's been more consistent. I will say, starting tight end for Bama out. That could be a cause of concern. We'll see how they utilize the passing attack today.
Touchdown props, Joe. Somebody's going to score touchdowns in this game. The only question is who. If you did like Isaiah Horton, Joe, he's at a plus 320 price to find pay dirt as a wide receiver. The favorites, though, no surprise. It's Jeremiah Cobb minus 135 and Daniel Hill plus 105. Two running backs for each institution here. The big-time wide receivers are the big names, I should say, for Alabama. Jeremy Bernard plus 115 and Ryan Williams at a plus 150 price. Jam Miller actually has a price point, Joe, of plus 155 in this game. What are we looking at from a touchdown perspective, Alabama and Auburn today?
Like I said, I like Cobb. I like Cam Coleman on the Auburn side. I would lean to Bernard in the red zone for Alabama. But I think Ashton Daniels on the ground today. Again, you got the more mature quarterback. He's experienced, big game. He's mobile enough to make plays outside the pocket. Game on the line, tuck it and run. I think that's always an option. But for me, it's definitely Cam Coleman in the passing attack.
Now let's get to our fun game, Joe. The total yards market here. And I think you're going to like some of this stuff here. Let me ask you, Auburn's total yards today, what you think it is.
300.
330.5.
Okay, what's the rushing total for Auburn today?
Let's go to the rushing.
I would say
Auburn
the rushing
total. Go ahead. What do you think?
155.
152.5.
I love it. They're averaging 170.
What's the correlation? They don't rush for 150. They ain't winning this game.
Well, I think the correlation is, again, if Bama jumps out early, you're going to have to pass, right? So Bama jumps out early, you're going to have to pass. Now, they're averaging 179 on the ground for Auburn. To me, I think they could, again, it all comes down to how you believe this game's going to play out. I'm back in Auburn. I think they're going to be able to run the football down their throat. So in that opportunity, I love the over 152.5 because to me, that's the only way they can win. If they're going to sit back there in 3rd and 10 with Ashton Daniels, going to be a long day. Run the football, get into red zone opportunities, and shorten the game. I put it this way. Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn. I have more confidence in Auburn's offense running the football on Bama than, let's say, I do Michigan against Ohio State.
Read options out there, Joe. By the way, Alabama, what do you think their rushing total is today?
110.
89.5, Joe.
Yeah, it's going to be. They're only giving up 94
rushing yards per game.
We need a
Jam Miller type game today. This one should be interesting to watch it play out there in the Iron Bowl. But next up, we're going to get to those Miami Hurricanes and the Pitt Panthers here. Should be some good options here to take a look at some of those spreads and also, more importantly, where those prop bets are coming from. We're roughly a half hour from kickoff to some of the biggest games of the season today. And Joe, Lisi, and Donnie Rightside, we got you covered. We'll be back after this short break. close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The Miami Hurricanes are going to take on the Pitt Panthers today. The question is going to be, Joe, there will be a winner and there will be a loser, but the question is, if you do win the game, can you still wind up a loser, which means Miami wins this game and they get sent home from the college football playoff? Or how about if Pitt wins this football game, what that means to the Pitt Panthers? There's a lot going on in this game, Joe.
Yeah, Pitt could play in the ACC championship game, so they have to take care of business. They're a home dog. They knock out Georgia Tech last week, built a 28-0 first-half lead. Never look back. And again, Miami is playing very good right now. They've won 3 straight. They're won by 24-plus per game against garbage competition. Can they do it against an above-average defense that's averaging right now? And you look at the front seven in Pittsburgh, only basically 94 rushing yards per game and 2.5 yards per rush. If Miami can't run the football, can Carson Beck take them to the promised land? Can he average 270, 280, something that Haynes King couldn't do last week? And Haynes King is one of the most elite, quarterbacks in the nation. Struggled last night against Georgia, but prior to that, he was averaging 339 total yards per game. Do you buy into the Hurricanes enough? I don't. I like Pittsburgh. I think they win the game outright.
You know, it's a good matchup to watch because usually it's 49.5. You say, ooh, there's a lot on the line here. It's cold temperatures. But that's not where we're getting the field, Joe. Like, I like the game to go over 49.5 points, but also understand this from a prop perspective. The game does as well. Heinzel, 243.5 is his passing prop. Carson Beck, 270.5. Touchdown prices here, 1.5 touchdown passes for Beck. It's minus 118. And then Heinzel is over 1.5 at around a plus 142 price. If we're looking at both of those quarterbacks, Joe, the expectations are we're not playing great defense and slowing this game down. These guys are supposed to get after it.
Yeah, 49.5 is the total, and you just look at it. I mean, 42 points for Pittsburgh last week. Miami puts up 34 on Virginia Tech. They dominated both Syracuse and NC State prior to that. When they're clicking offensively and both quarterbacks are in a rhythm, you're going to put up points. There's no doubt about it. It's a cold track. Do we believe that slows it down in any capacity? I actually think that benefits Pittsburgh and it benefits potentially turnovers in this matchup, short field. The only question is if you're back in the 49.5, does Miami try and run the football early on this front seven? If so, then maybe you get a time-sustained drive, and that can lean to maybe a cheaper price under the 49.5. But I do feel this game trends into the 50s.
If we look at the rushing props, Joe, Jacarian Turner has 46.5. Is Reed playing in this game?
I thought he was. I thought he was cleared.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
because he doesn't have any props right now on
so
the board.
then probably not. Again, when you look at it, no.
Maybe a little bit close, and we say like, oh, maybe a little bit closer to game time. We're basically a half hour from game time. You know,
Yeah,
sit
some of
around
the books
and watch
though
this one
too.
play out.
Again, when you just look at it and you look at just like the Miami side too. I mean, they don't even have Fletcher listed, and he's there for anytime touchdown.
True.
So it's Pringle in one book. It's Pringle and then Turner. And then Heinzel on the rushing attack. So you got to be careful. C.J. Daniels didn't have totals the last 3 weeks. Yeah. Yet he's listed as an anytime touchdown.
They're trying to hide some numbers on a show.
Well, I think what the books do now at this point in the season, they don't want him to get exposed on bad numbers. They're putting out numbers on anytime touchdowns, but nothing in aspect of some of the receiving or rushing totals. Again, I just take the total 49.5 here. I do like Heinzel, though, multiple touchdowns through the
I think we shoot it out today. Like I'd be very surprised on a 24-10
shoot it out, 60s? You think this game's going to get it? I mean,
it seems like it could go off the rails,
it could.
though.
Well, so both quarterbacks for 600 yards?
Yeah,
3 and 3?
if you're telling me today, what would be the surprise point? Like, ooh, Miami didn't get the 20 or like both of these teams are in the 20s for me today.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I agree. I don't think we're going to see a 21, 13 type of game.
Yep.
Yeah, it all depends. As Miami come out flat, we've seen them come out flat.
Malachi, Joe, are you alting him up?
Nah, Malachi,
85,
Tony.
95, 105, 120. Come on now.
No.
I'm buying it on that, man. Listen,
Why?
You're always hating on Miami. I pick Miami. I pick Notre Dame. Both teams,
you should bet them.
institutions.
Lay the 6.5 and lay the 32.5.
9.5. Lay the 9.5. Take the plus money. Put it in your pocket. Double-digit victory here. I mean, come on now. There's a lot of timeouts behind the scenes at this point right now.
What's going on?
But understand this though. Paid out props today. Mark Fletcher minus 135, Malachi Tony minus 130, Pringle plus 105. I don't think you can go wrong, Joe, if you take Fletcher and Pringle. One of those guys is getting in, if not maybe both of them.
Pringle had the touchdown catch. He's been utilized more in the passing attack, more on multiple, situational long third downs, and he's there. He's a very good running back. He's a freshman. Fletcher, you would think, is the workhorse for that offense. But again, no totals listed. So you tell me. I would go with Pringle just because, again, Carson Beck trusts him in the passing attack. He can catch the football out of the backfield as well. And again, anytime touchdown, he has a little bit better value.
How about a little Desmond Reed, Joe, if he does play, plus 170 to find Pater today?
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad, but maybe he doesn't score. Why? Because Miami Hurricanes win this game and head to the college football playoff. More topics coming up next. Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now in the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy.
Yeah.
But possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
12 teams are going to get into the college football playoff. If it was up to me, 24 teams will get in. Because why? More is better. We knock out bowl season when you have you. But now at this part of the program, we want to take a look at who's actually in the college football playoff. Because myself and Joe Lisi, we are the playoff committee, Joe. So we're going to decide. Look at that. Two guys right there dressed up. Joe's, we're the anti-committee, but really we are the committee. The anti-committee technically is the committee that's calling it right now. Understand this, Joe. I don't wear the bow ties. You got the bow tie on.
Yeah,
I'm feeling like a billionaire right there.
I keep telling you, AI doesn't do me justice. They can't. Perfection is just hard to duplicate.
They can't. Just you're breaking codes over there. You're breaking it down at this point, the way it lines up at this point. But if we are taking a look at being the anti-committee to go against the committee, Joe, your top 12.
Yeah. So I start with Ohio State and Indiana, two top teams that are undefeated right now. They're going to square off in the Big Ten championship game, assuming that Ohio State takes care of business today. But I still think Georgia's the best team in the nation. I know they have that one loss to Alabama earlier in the year, but from what I've seen right now, I think they're going to win it all. I really believe Georgia is the most complete team heading into a championship Saturday for them. We'll see if they're playing in the Big 12 championship, a big SEC championship, excuse me. I did give the benefit of the doubt to Texas A&M. Hey, to go 11-0 and lose your last regular season game to an arch rival, again, not easy. I understand they beat up on some lower-level competition in the SEC, but they still beat Notre Dame on the road earlier in the year as a 6.5-point dog. I still think they're worthy of a top 5 ranking, so I do have A&M in there. What else do I have in there? I got to see Oregon. Dan Lanning, I feel like they take care of business today against Washington. For me, I like what they have with Dante Moore. I like what they have on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're a little bit more complete than Ole Miss is. Ole Miss already took care of business. Texas Tech, I need to see it more consistently out of Baron Morton. Defensively, they're there, but I can't buy in big picture to Texas Tech right now. I want to see how they play today against West Virginia on the road. BYU, assuming they take care of business. I did give the benefit of the doubt to Notre Dame because I think they're going to be in there, but I like Oklahoma. Oklahoma wins today, Donnie. They can make some noise in the college football playoff big picture. Ty Simpson in Alabama, assuming they win against Auburn. And I put this in prior to the game today because I think the Tigers strike the upset, and I'm giving the edge to John Summerall, plus 136 in Tulane to make the college football playoff. Their favorite today, but they get in plus 136 over North Texas.
Yeah, we have a couple changes in there between myself and yours. I see you have Brigham Young ranked there. I don't even have Brigham Young in there because I don't think they're going to make the college football playoff. But a lot of this isn't like where they sit this week. It's almost like what we're thinking because you have Alabama a little bit lower down because there's probably a thought process they might struggle with Auburn, if not lose to Auburn today. For me, one of the biggest differences for the 12th spot, right? I'm just listed as the group of 5 bum squad. Just put a bum, just put a bum team in there, smoke them out. Nobody wants to see North Texas, Tulane. What a waste of space here. But look what I did, Joe, at 10 and 11. I put those Hurricanes up at 10 and Notre Dame 11. I'm feeling the heat right now. This is a guy that told you Notre Dame's going to make the college football playoff all year long. Yeah. And now I'm rooting against myself for them to not make the college football playoff to help sneak Miami in. Because here's the thing, I like the minus 2200s, Joe. Like you see that graph that we're out there. I was surprised yesterday when I went back on and saw like 650 and minus 600 as a favorite. Like, what did I miss? Like, Notre Dame's going to have an easy victory. If they win, they should be in. But now this market is telling like, whoa, 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 whoa. Miami wins impressively. You're going to have some voters go, you know what? They did play head-to-head, and that matters.
All right, so put up Donnie's list again because I want to go through this.
Brilliance.
Brilliance.
You want a second look at brilliance.
Yeah, I want a second look, please. Because,
can't even read it.
No, so you put Miami ahead of Notre Dame.
Yes.
Why?
Because Miami's going to win big today, and Notre Dame might struggle a little bit.
And because of the head-to-head?
Because of the head-to-head,
But you didn't do that with Georgia and Ole Miss.
No, it doesn't matter. We're not paying attention to those two. What do you care about Georgia, Ole Miss? Nobody. Georgia's better than Ole Miss. You don't think Georgia's better than Ole Miss?
I do think Georgia's better than Ole Miss. You put Ole Miss at number 4 over Texas Tech. Why?
Yes, because I just don't trust the Big 12. Like, if it's up to me, Big 12 don't even get in, Joe. Just showing a little respect to Texas Tech.
And Oregon.
BYU out. See it. Then they'll get in there.
Okay, and so now, all right, so Alabama, because they lost to Oklahoma.
And they're going to win today.
They're not going to win today.
Okay. Keep going.
so
A&M, get a little like I want to bust A&M out of there too.
Why?
Now. I don't know. I'm feeling frisky this morning.
So,
I want a shake up.
So you believe? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If A&M played Oklahoma,
Yes.
who do you think would be favored?
If A&M plays Oklahoma, neutral site,
Yep.
I actually think Oklahoma would be favored. in the
No,
game
come
now.
on.
I do.
Do you?
I do. Because here's the thing that we're running into right now. It's a great conversation because I'm starting to have second thoughts on a couple teams. A&M's schedule isn't that good.
But they still beat Notre Dame in South Bend as a 6.5-point dog.
Well, then Miami. Well, wait a second. Well, Miami beat them and nobody cares about it.
Yeah, but
I hear what
Miami
you're
beat
saying.
them at home. I mean, coming off a loss. Think
It was a
about
good
that.
win. It was a
They
good
lose
win.
week 1, they come home week 2, and they got to face A&M. And granted, it was a 1-point game.
Like
but
I feel like I still need prove-it games for A&M, and we're going to get that in the college football playoff. But the same way I look at like this Ohio State game today, like we're just penciling in Ohio State as the best team because we like the production that we get on a week-to-week basis. But Joe, they haven't played anybody since Texas. It feels like.
No, you're
like,
right.
how good are
they? They played Minnesota. They played Purdue. They beat up on a bunch. You know, that's a testament to what the Big Ten is. But they've won, Donnie, in dominating fashion.
Yeah.
Now, if they would have
That's
faced
what I'm
off
trying to weigh.
against Oregon like they did last year, you would have a bigger body of work to say that Ohio State is the clear-cut favorite. That's why, for me, like I think if Ohio State played Georgia, I think Georgia would win that game. I just think Georgia potentially has a better offense than what Ohio State.
Intimidated.
Yeah, I just think up front they're not going to be pushed around. Like I don't think Ohio State would hold Georgia to only 80 yards on the ground.
Yeah. It's a fun topic that we have, too, because, Joe, like, again, this is Week 14. Actually, the 15th show we're doing in Week 14 here because we had the Week 0 games. And every week we're like, okay, let's see it come down to this. Like, today, like, we're going to know, Joe. Like, we are going to know the deal. At the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Unis with Michigan, the complete all blue.
You like it or not?
I love it.
Yeah. It's a great uniform game, by the way, overall.
I mean, they went all blue today, though. They didn't go with the canary yellow pant. They went with the all blue.
Trying to shake it up?
I like that.
All right, you want to shake it up now in the cow sheet market, Joe? College football championship winner. It's Ohio State, 37% chance right now.
No, give me Georgia.
If you go, all right, let me see. I'm going to give you Georgia, 12%, Joe. $100 bet, $834 back in your favor for Georgia to win it all in cow sheet. Notre Dame, 9%. Let me slide it down to see what. Look at them Canes, Joe. 1% again. No respect. $100. 10 G's
What's Oklahoma?
Back. Oklahoma is 3%, Joe. It's not a bad one. It's not bad. Defense. Hunter pays back $3,300.
That's a good one. If they just have to take care of business against LSU. That could be a trap game. I will say I do like Oklahoma because I'm not sure.
Oklahoma loses, Joe. Miami's in.
Yeah. If they
What a
win.
day. Yeah,
if Miami
What do you mean
wins.
if? What do you mean if? Come on now.
Don't start
What do you mean?
that.
How about Alabama, Joe? Everybody likes to go back to a nice blue blood. $100 pays back $1,250. They lose today. It's a wrap.
I want to sell it. Sell Alabama.
Sell. Okay, if you're selling them, Joe, you make $8 back for them not to win it. $100 pays back $108. 8% investment. Where are you going to get that out of? That's better than Madoff out here right now. Come on. Just got to hold it on for a couple, 30, 40 days at this point here. All right, Joe.
Give me handles. I'll tell you what. Some of the biggest handles, what the books need supposedly. I read some reports. They need West Virginia.
Big time.
Yeah, they need Auburn. I think. We'll see.
How about this, though? We already asked you today the time that we're going to get Lane Kiffin's announcement today, and also where is he going?
Between
I don't think he
2 and 4 today Eastern. It'll be before 5 Eastern. Between 2 and 4.
But who actually, is it a Lane Kiffin tweet?
No.
Or is this coming from
it's coming from
Brett McMurphy?
Brett McMurphy, Pete Thamel, Nakos.
Dan Woken, what's his name?
Yeah, Dan Woken. Pete Nakos.
That's your underdog right there. By the way, Lane Kiffin's an 81% chance here to go to LSU, which means 100. Like we're talking about quick return.
So if
you can make 24%.
So if you sold it, what do you make?
Man, it's not working here anymore. $100 pays $435, man. $435. Come on.
You're crazy.
By the way, like honestly, if you were putting, I'm gonna ask you right now, Lane Kiffin to LSU, if it happens today, like, would you bet the $100 on Kiffin to go there, or do you think he shocks the world? Goes, I'm staying.
Why would he shock them?
You get 24. You get that's a meal. That's Taco Bell tonight for you, Joe.
Taco
Yeah.
Bell. No, I would only go to the yes.
LSU, yes, he's going. We'll be back. Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now on the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They love Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy,
Yeah.
but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Some people on this show, at the beginning of the season, we pick winners. We say Miami's going to have a good season. Miami has a good season. We say Notre Dame's going to have a good season and come back. Notre Dame has a good season. Others pick LSU, crash burn, new head coach, and that's what winds up with, Joe.
Really?
Here's a chance to redeem yourself and the LSU Tigers today.
Yeah.
As they take on Oklahoma as a double-digit underdog on the road. Windy temperatures at Oklahoma. Windy conditions with okay temperatures, around 50 degrees today, Joe. 35.5's in the marketplace now for the total. Low total. Why? That defense is nasty for Oklahoma, and that offense stinks for LSU.
Yeah, but it's, again, this game flew through the total last year, and LSU dominated by double digits. Granted, Nussmeier and that passing attack were much more lethal than what we see out of Van Buren right now. Heading into this matchup, and a team that was dead and buried last week against Western Kentucky, laid 21.5 and barely won 13-10. Didn't even come close to the 51.5 point total. But I like the total today. I'm going to go through the 36.5. I mean, I can't go lower. I mean, this is still John Mateer and an LSU talent base. Again, you could still have turnovers in this game. I do like Oklahoma strictly for the fact of they're dialed in. I'm not sold on where LSU's mindset is coming into this matchup. Last regular season game, they're 7-4 overall. All of their goals are thrown out the window, and now Lane Kiffin potentially the new head coach. Maybe they get a boost, to show out on national TV. But I still like Oklahoma. But I like the total over 36.5.
Let's take a look at another game, Joe. 3:30 p.m. Eastern in the SEC down in Rocky Top. Battle of Tennessee. It's Vanderbilt taking on Tennessee, Joe. This line opened up as a 3.5-point favorite for the Tennessee Volunteers. We now see 2.5s across the board. Does that mean Diego Pavia and the boys coming in there for a short little upset in Knoxville today?
Well, they haven't beaten Tennessee in 6 straight years, okay? And they lost this game last year, 36-23. Pavia and Vanderbilt jumped out to a 14-0 lead, 13-0. And it was all Tennessee in the second half. Now, that was with Nico at the helm. Joey Aguilar is a much better quarterback. They have won 6 straight in the series, Tennessee, by an average margin of victory, Donnie, of 26.6 points per game. You're seeing 2.5. Basically, Tennessee just has to win. I lean, and I like Tennessee here. Again, I went against Vanderbilt last week with a gutless Kentucky team. But that Kentucky team offensively is challenged compared to what Joey Aguilar and Tennessee is. Again, it comes down to talent. I love Pavia. I love that offense for Vandy. I just think speed kills, and Tennessee has a much better defense. I'm going to lay the 2.5.
I'll tell you who's watching today, the Miami Hurricanes here. Virginia and Virginia Tech, Joe. 8.5-point number. That's down from 11.5 at the opening price, and a total that's listed at 52.5. Colder temperatures in Virginia, an ACC battle. Can Virginia Tech hang around in this game, or maybe pull the upset and send the ACC into a little bit more chaos?
So here's the numbers for Virginia Tech. They have won 4 straight in the series, and they've dominated. They've won by 20.2 points per game. The last win in the series over the last 20 meetings for Virginia came back in Charlottesville in 2019 with Bryce Perkins and that team that made it to the ACC championship against Clemson. They have lost 19 out of the last 20.
Yeah.
Donnie, I said if I was Tony Elliott, wait a second.
Yeah.
I told Coach Bowden, I said if I was Tony Elliott, I'd be wearing the cloves of garlic around my neck today to ward off.
Like the little red.
Right, but I'm just saying,
there,
wouldn't you? I mean, you've lost 19 of the last 20 to your arch rival. Bring out whatever. I'd have
the Malloy.
I'm telling you, I'd be wearing the garlic cloves around my neck as a necklace. Supposedly, and I just read something on X, 98% of the money's on Vodtech. I mean, how about this? How about we get the over? I like Vodtech. I'll take the numbers. I'll be one of the 98%. Again, I like the over. I like Virginia Tech. But those are crazy stats. We talk about trends. I mean, you're 1 in 19 over your last 20. And you lost 4 straight to them by basically 3 touchdowns.
Huge game. Again, could throw some things
They
in there.
need to win just to make it to the championship.
Correct. Imagine Virginia getting in there in the college football. Stop the madness.
Donnie, if I'm Elliott, big cloves of garlic around my neck.
Checking the Malloy cell phone, saying, you know what I mean? Knock it off, bad spirits at this point right now. Joe, Clemson and South Carolina, a lot of bad spirits here, and a lot of people not enjoying their Thanksgivings. Clemson, absolutely bad this year. South Carolina, worse this year. But look at this line. South Carolina at home is a favorite.
I would lay it.
Yeah?
I would.
Dabo just has a complete meltdown at the end of the season, 12 o'clock today.
I should be looking at this differently because Clemson wins on the road. They just don't win at home. So, they got the road win over Louisville, and they're more battle-tested. I just think I don't have any confidence in Klubnik. I still have somewhat confidence in Williams-Brice. I know the team only has 3 wins, and Beamer's coming out and say they're going to make the college football playoff. Talk about saving your job. He was thinking about bolting to Vodtech, and that's when he thought he had a position of strength. Now he's lost almost every game since then. He's like, hold on, don't worry.
I love it here.
We're going to make the playoff next year. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Lenore Sellers in South Carolina win a close game. They won last year in Death Valley.
UCF, Joe, heading up to Provo to take on BYU. This line opened up at 6.5. It's actually rising to 17.5 now with a total of 46.5. Is there a chance that UCF pulls off the upset over BYU, or does BYU roll and say, we're a playoff team, deal with it?
I'm going to take the points with Frost and UCF just because – again, you have a first-year head coach. The kids are fighting. They're fighting for bowl contention. 17.5. I mean, BYU could, I don't want to say overlook them, but I've seen BYU in these spots in Provo. Give me the 17.5 with UCF.
All right, let's get a look at Lisi's best of the rest card here, Joe. I know you have a lot of games to look at here and also some prop bets. Let the people know about your best of the rest card and how you're going to get after it today with the people.
Well, I mean, best of the rest. I mean, I like Tennessee minus the points. I think Tennessee could potentially step up. I like Arkansas. Arkansas has an opportunity. They're catching 4.5 across multiple books. Eli Drinkowitz signed the 6-year extension. The seniors are going out in style. Taylor Green, Mike Washington. What about the Omega Blake, Donnie? The Omega Blake can hit pay dirt today. You never know. So that's what I like. I do like Auburn as my best bet. That is my best bet of the day. But I do like Arkansas, and we'll see if some of these other playmakers.
How about Drones?
I like Drones. I do like Drones on the ground.
Waiting on that guy to perform.
Again, he's a senior. He's another one going out in style. Who else do I have on there?
Going out in style.
Well, I mean, he's had a good career for him.
Shut it down.
Drones has
Maybe
had
we'll
a
see
good
him on the
career.
grid next year sometimes. You know what I mean? You
No,
do college football,
don't
Joe.
be shocked if
Pass the rock.
Drones can make an NFL roster.
All right, we'll see what happens next. We are getting close to kickoff here. Let's wrap it up next time in style, Joe, and tell you about the games you need to know about that are just around the corner. Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now on the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They loved Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like, it just burns up quick. And you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy,
Yeah.
but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The game, people, coming up in roughly 5 minutes right now. I already saw Tom Brady, saw Aiden Hutchinson. Ohio State's getting in there. This is going to be a fantastic one. Cold temperatures, Joe, but not a lot of wind and certainly no precipitation. We should get a clean affair today, which means 9.5s are creeping into the marketplace now, under double digits. If you want the dog, you can't get the 10-point dog now at most options. Joe, Ohio State. Could this be another letdown for them on their way to another national championship? Can't happen again, can it?
Nah, I don't think it. I mean, again, I like Michigan to cover. I think Ohio State maybe can win this game.
No.
I mean, the reason why
Well,
let
me ask you this question.
God.
Do you think Michigan has a legitimate chance to win this game, or are you just saying you think they might be able to hang around? I don't think they can win this game. I'm being honest. I don't think they can win.
I think the only way they can win is if Bryce Underwood is Superman. And what I mean by that is 80 yards on the ground, maybe 175 through the air, but they need his athleticism to run the football. They're not going to just line it up and run it between the A and B gaps, Donnie, the way they did last year. I just don't think this is a defense that has not allowed a 100-yard rusher since week 1.
The answer,
I mean, but they haven't faced a mobile guy.
Answer me this. Last year we saw Michigan win this game and Ohio State win a championship. Ohio State loses this game, Joe. They're still going to the college football playoff. Are they a fraud this year? We didn't look at them last year as a fraud when they lost, but I ask you this because the scheduled competition that they played this year wasn't very good.
No, but I will say this. I think if they lose this game or they win this game, I still think they're up against it in the college football playoff. Buy or no buy. And the reason why I say that is because I think Georgia's complete.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss can create some problems. I think Oklahoma on a given day, if they bring the defense, can create some problems. So when you look at the teams that are potentially going to make the playoff, I think that the field is going to be much stronger this year, Donnie, than it was last year where they had the easy run. Tennessee laid an egg.
Yeah.
The one team they actually struggle with, right, and you know, you look at Ohio State, they struggled basically with who? They struggled in the second half with Notre Dame, a physical team. But, I mean, do you think Georgia's more complete than Tennessee? I do.
Yes, no doubt about it. And
do you think Ole Miss is more complete than Tennessee was last year? You're getting above-average quarterback play.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks,
it's going to be tough.
Mateer, even though he's not putting up numbers, if he were to win today, we know Mateer could put up in a given situation with the game on the line. He's battle-tested. You're talking about above-average quarterback play. Last year you had Drew Aller in there. You had Riley Leonard in there. Kevin Jennings. All right, Jennings is good, but he's not elite. I'm just saying, Donnie, I think the road this year is much more difficult than it was last year.
I can't wait to watch it play out today, too, because, again, there's a lot of feeling where Ohio State wins this game 24-3, like, oh, nobody's touching them.
No, I don't think
I'm waiting to see a measuring test game for Ohio State. Maybe they get it today from Michigan. But other games today, Joe, Alabama and Auburn, they're going to take place. The Iron Bowl today, 5.5-point favorite. This is a game where Auburn, who has devastated Alabama in this game before, when Alabama comes in as a favorite, is there a chance that Auburn, you think, can walk out with the outright victory and knock out the Tide from the playoff?
Absolutely. I'm calling for the outright win.
Ooh.
I really like Auburn.
Coach, I love that.
I do. I know Alabama's won 5 straight in the series. They've won by 14 points per game, but I do believe in DJ Durkin. I do believe in their front seven. I do not believe in the rushing attack for Bama. That's only averaging 3.6 yards per carry, and I certainly don't believe in the front seven. Again, we've seen teams run the football. Georgia ran the football. Florida State ran the football on them, and I know they beat Georgia, but again, they put up 227 rushing yards on that front seven. If Auburn comes to play, and I expect them to, I think Cobb, Daniels on the ground could exploit that front seven. I think it's an upset in the making.
Another big 12 o'clock game, Joe. Miami taking on Pittsburgh today. This game is in Pitt. 48.5 is a total live right now. 6.5 as the favorite for the Miami Hurricanes. Joe and I both see it correctly here. We like the over, but actually that number, 49.5, Joe, you can still get 48.5 now in the marketplace today. I see both of these quarterbacks throwing and throwing and throwing, Joe.
Yeah, again, I told you 600 combined, maybe if you can get a number, is not a bad total. I like Pittsburgh. I think they have the better front seven. I think they have, playing at home, they have an advantage. I know they didn't step up against Notre Dame, but Miami in a road environment, very tough. They've come out flat in recent meetings. Let's see what they do, but I'm taking the Panthers in the over.
Give me a chaos scenario today, Joe. Like, well, what's wild? Like, who's losing?
Miami
who's
loses.
Of course you said
Oklahoma loses.
Notre Dame loses.
No, Oklahoma loses.
Ooh.
Bama loses. That's it.
How about Virginia, Joe? Chance
Virginia
Tech can come up rise?
Yeah, but then you would have Pitt. You would have Pitt in the ACC championship game.
It's game time, Joe. How are you feeling right now? You got butterflies in your stomach today?
No, not
what
really.
Do you got?
3:30 games are bigger for me. So
really?
Yeah.
You don't like the 12 o'clock early starts?
I'm on the 12 o'clocks. I'm on Pitt and I'm on Michigan, but I have more action in the 3:30s.
So we do it. SportsGrid College Football today. Week 14 action is on deck. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next Saturday for more football. Close to $1 million in volume being traded right now on the Offensive Player of the Year. If you did put $100 down on Jonathan Taylor, that would pay back $143, so a 43% increase on your money that you had. There are a lot of long shots in here, but it doesn't feel like those would be good bets. Like, hey, I'm going to put it on Justin Herbert. Well, yeah, if Justin Herbert wins it, Joe, a $100 wager would pay back $10,000. They even have a market for if you want to bet Malik Neighbors.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He's the fan favorite. They love talking about Stafford, the 38-year-old guy. He's the Super Bowl champ. We got the family. Any opportunity to pump McVay and Stafford as a team, they do that. They love this team. They loved Aaron Donald, and rightfully so. Best defensive player, but they love to pump up Stafford.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
What are those things called?
A shooting star.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that one. Like it just burns up quick, and you love it while you can see it, and bing, it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Right.
That's my fear for Cam Scatterby.
Yeah, and that's not a big deal, but I will say it's weird, and it seems like he really enjoys that attention, which is all fine because he's a young guy,
Yeah.
but possibly dangerous in a city like New York.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
The play is our fam. You don't know about our fam? Go look her up on social media. Go look at YouTube. 19-year-old from Spain, 6'6", block shots, runs the floor, rebounds, post up, inside, outside, pop the corn, serve the beer, and it can clean up the mess when you're done eating your meal. This lady is absolutely fantastic.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.